What's up, guys? It's Battleface TV. We're back with another video. So today I decided to do a hand trap tier list since Rage of the Abyss released today as I'm recording this video, Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. So with that, let's get into the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. So I have a tier list here, and I have a bunch of tiers. Obviously, we've got main deck, main/side deck for the cards that can work for both the main deck and the side deck, but you don't necessarily want to main. You have the side deck, you have niche, and you have not worth playing. So if this video gets 10 likes, I'll do a board breaker video as well, a board breaker tier list as well, if you guys want more content like that. So let's get right into it. So we'll go right into alphabetical order. I'll have Justice Catastor. This card sucks. Don't play it. Lancia just beats Ritual Beast. It beats any like the shifter decks that their whole gimmick is banishing. This card is really niche because it does cook Ritual Beast. It's not worth playing. It's not like side deck, main deck worthy. But if your deck just has a bad Ritual Beast matchup, I do recommend side decking this card. Ash Blossom. This card will never not be a main staple card. This card is one of the best in the game. It's cheap. Everyone can afford it. It hits every deck. It's a good offensive tool. It's a good defensive tool. It's a pretty good card. The Bystials, the tier list gave me all the Bystials to work with, but I'm just going to be using Magnemite. Bystials, if it's part of your engine, I do recommend you still play them, and they're really good hand traps. But if it's not, I recommend you do side deck these cards. They really do beat the Fiendsmith cards, but with the Fiendsmith slowly leaving the meta, I believe that Bystials are going to leave as well because Bystials are a hard counter to the Fiendsmith engine. Chaos Hunter, this card's kind of like it's a worse version of Lancia. You can summon it on your field. I've been experimenting with this card in Chimera. It's really good. It's really good against certain matchups, but I don't think it's good in the meta. So with that, I'm going to say just don't play this card. Contact C, also don't play this card. DD Crow, this is the interesting one. DD Crow, unlike the Bystials, they do hit actual cards, so you can DD Crow the Deception out of the graveyard or the Hollow Dazamina. That way they just don't get it back and it's gone forever, and they can't summon the Omni Negate on your turn. That's the only really application that I think you could have in the metagame. But I think this card is main/side deck worthy. I think I'm going to put it at the top of side deck worthy. Shifter, best hand trap in the game. I don't care what people say. Shifter should be banned. This card is toxic. It just does not promote good gameplay. There are shifter decks out there, especially with the new sets coming out like Malice. Their whole deck just says banish cards. It's not a good card. It should not be in the game, but it does really, really cook Snake Eyes. Especially with the new Azamina cards, they need their graveyard to do anything. So obviously this card is a main deck staple, but play it only if you can. So like if you're playing Snake Eyes, I would not play Shifter. Dominus Impulse. This card's broken. Basically a solemn warning, but it does lock you out of certain attributes. So if your deck can play this card, play it. I don't know what this one is. I'm going to skip it. Draw and Lockbird. This is an interesting one. The way people have been counting the Molcharmi cards, while I talk about Droll, I'm just going to talk about the Molcharmis as well. Perulia is obviously going to be a main/side deck staple. If you're playing Tempai, you can main deck both Molcharmis in the deck. But if you're not playing Tempai, Perulia is more so of a side deck option. But I believe I'm going to just put I do think I'm going to put Perulia in the side deck option, while I'm going to put Floros in the main deck. Floros is broken. If you don't know what both these Molcharmis do, I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of them. Molcharmi Floros says anytime your opponent special summons from the main deck or the extra deck, draw a card. And then Perulia says anytime your opponent normal special summons from the hand, draw a card. These cards are broken. You should be Perulia is like 160 on pre-release. I think it's gone down to I think it's still around 160, 180. If you have the money, obviously play it. I'm a broke college kid, so I will not be playing this card. in my deck list at all. If I do, I will be borrowing the cards. So I don't want anybody in my comments saying I'm rich. I'm looking at you, Vincent. I'm not rich. I'm just borrowing the card. Anyways, back to draw. Draw is a really good countermeasure to effectively just say, yeah, I'm just gonna not let you draw any cards, and I'm gonna make you go -1. But yeah, so draw is really interesting in this format because you can draw the Fiendsmith cards. You can draw Snake Eyes when they add off Deception. So I think draw is sort of like it's like a main / side deck staple depending on what you run into. It's really up to the opponent. Effect Veiler is a really, really good card. Main decking this card if you have the room. While I'm on topic about Effect Veiler, I'm going to put Infinite Impermanence also just up in the slot. Infinite Impermanence is really, really good. I'm going to put Imperm at the top because it doesn't play into cards like Talents and Thrust. The only downside is you do have to have no cards on your field, which typically isn't going to be the case when you're going second. So, yeah. Anyways, Phantasme. This is just like the budget version of the Perulias. I think this card's really niche right now. Obviously, if you can't play Phantasme, if you can't play the Perulias, I would play Phantasme. It's a really good card. Bell. It's just not Bell's format. There's not a lot of graveyard shenanigans happening right now. Warner is also really niche. If you have the room to even run this card, run it, sure. But I think there's just better cards you can be running. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherish, just don't play this card. Don't play this card. It's not good. Ghost Ogre is really, really good because you can ogre the Deception and just stop them entirely. And they just lost 2 cards for the price of 1. And Ogre is really, really good at stopping continuous spells. So you can Ogre the Deception, Ogre Nightmare Pain, Ogre Singing Summoning. It's really, really good. Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. There was a lot of talk about this card at the European NAWCQ. This card is just insane. It just gains you a bunch of life points, allows you to win in time. I think with the way that the format is going to be heading, there is going to be a lot of game ones that take forever. I think the way it's going to go, I'm going to put this in definitely you need to side deck it, but I think the way it's going to go is if you're playing like a rogue deck, the way it's going to go is if you lose a die roll, game 1, they're going to combo forever and you're going to scoop, and then it turns back to you. Game 2, you're going to go full combo. They're going to try and break your board, but they're not slow playing, but they're like playing at a reasonable pace, but they know in the back of their head that like, oh yeah, I'm just going to casually win in time. So because the new Deception also does burn if you do hand trap them. So they're going to play until like they have enough time, and then they're going to scoop. And then game 3, they're just going to find a way to burn you in time or gain life points. So the Heralds, again, this is a really good card. Not once per turn. They're both really good. But the downside of it is you have to discard a fairy. Sorry, I have a bit of a cough. But if you're not playing a deck like Melodious or Drytron, or where you can just have the freedom to just discard fairies, you can't play this card. But these cards are so powerful. So I do recommend you play them if you're playing a fairy deck. Delta, I'm going to put Delta in the side deck along with Gamma. Just don't play Epsilon. Epsilon is so trash. It's not even worth playing right now. Ceravis, not worth playing as a hand trap. Skullmeister, not worth playing as a hand trap. If this is Typhoon, I'm going to act like this is Typhoon because I have no idea what this is. It's probably not worth playing. But Typhoon, if this is Typhoon, Typhoon's really interesting because if they have 2 or more trap cards, you can activate it from your hand. And I think Typhoon's a really good like card. I'm gonna put it below Ogre, but above like the Bestials and Impulse because it just allows you to just interact with your opponent. I think this is a really, really good card. And cards that allow you to like activate them from the hand is really busted. These 2, I think I'm gonna restructure this. I'm gonna put Impulse above the Bestials actually. So like these 2 are really, really good. Nibiru has fallen out of the format lately. It's just not the card for it. It's not the format for it, but I do think it's still a really, really good hand trap. So I am going to put it in the main / side deck. Again, if you're playing Impulse, you cannot activate Ogre or Nibiru. So just be careful if you are playing all three in combination. Retaliating Seas, the last one I'm going to talk about. This card's really niche. There's a video on Yaxine's channel. I'll post a link in the description below where he talks about how this card is broken. And I'm not really buying into the hype right now because there's a lot of cope around this card. I just don't believe this card's worth it. It says anytime they special summon a monster, anything goes from the graveyard is banished. But most people, they can just go talent, steal it, and then like link it off to make a link, like steal it, normal summon a hand trap, and then make Moon into Requiem. That way, it's just off the field. This is just a watered down version of Shifter. So if I have the choice between these two, I'm playing Shifter, obviously. That's the end of the video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe.